Hey, what's up, my good people? Hope you've been staying safe out here. But I just wanted to tell you something because it's been on my mind recently, and I know a lot of people don't really be looking into it. So I just wanted to enlighten y'all on a few things because there's some misconceptions about what is going on with this whole government thing. So I'm gonna just tell you how it is. We're basically we're forced to pay taxes for all these government programs, and people tell us that this is the price that we pay to live in a civilized society, or blah blah blah, all that bullshit about democracy and whatnot. But what it really is, we're just forced to live by some randos rules who we don't even know, doesn't even personally know us, but for some reason, because motherfuckers was here before us and they built up the infrastructure, apparently they have the God-given right to tell me what to do. They can throw me in a cage, they can throw you in a cage, they can lock your son up for having a Dom bag of some plant in his fucking pocket. So yeah, that's what we were brought into. And a lot of y'all are cool with that because, you feel like you're getting some freebies or some nice things out of it. But let me tell you, you're not getting shit out of it. Because when you look at our public education system, our freaking police system, the economy, how they handle all of that stuff, you're getting fucked on every aspect, I'm telling you. And I'm gonna start off with the public education system because I only graduated from high school about 5 years ago, so it really hasn't even been that long. So it's fresh on my mind the type of shenanigans that happen in the public school system and pretty much the waste of time that it was. But let me tell you about it. So, yeah, first off, the problem with the public education system is we all know that it doesn't prepare any of us for the real world. Like, if I don't know if you've been to high school recently, or if you've been to the school system within the last 2 decades, but I can tell you for sure that you ain't learning a whole lot of useful information over there. You're basically just in there learning information that you're pretty much going to forget as soon as you finish the test and pass the exam. It's not anything really relevant. You're not learning anything relevant to your life or how to operate in the real world in the school system. Think about all the different stupid ass classes that we've taken or that you can think of in high school, and think about how many of them that you've actually been able to apply to your real world scenarios. And I'm willing to bet a lot of you would put that in the range of between maybe 5 to 10% of the classes. Like, yeah, English and math is definitely useful. Everything else is probably a waste of time for the most part. Like, yeah, I'm a big science nerd, but I know for a fact that's just not helping the day-to-day person figure out how to file their taxes or go out into the workplace or market themselves so they can get a decent job, or how to find a decent job or create a business. None of that stuff is being taught in school because it's basically a glorified daycare. So what are the public education system? We need to scrap that shit entirely and figure out a new way to educate our youth and the masses, because leaving it up to the state is not helping us out at all. It's just raising a bunch of order followers pretty much. And don't even get me started on the economy, because if you thought you were safe after you graduated high school, man, let me tell you, boy, that economy is even more fucked than the education system. First off, our dollar's worth 5 cents of what it used to be worth, so we have way less buying power than we used to because inflation has stolen so much money from us due to the fact that the government's allowed to print an infinite supply of money and it's not backed by gold anymore. So inflation is destroying everybody's savings. So if you were saving money, you wasted your time. Inflation got it. They've been printing money and paying for their stupid ass shit that way instead of taxing us. So all these times you thought that taxes weren't going up and the government was still buying shit, it was because they were printing money and they were using that money to pay off things. And since there's more money in the supply, because there's more printed money, that means that inflation rises. And when inflation is rising and it drops the value of the dollar to 5% of what it used to be, or 5 cents of what it used to be, then yeah, of course you're going to see how that really fucks people low on the totem pole. From that to all the regulations and laws that prevent people from getting into industries and having to pay stupid ass fees, or artificially limiting the amount of people that can participate in an industry. For example, cannabis is a big one right now. I'm a big cannabis I'm a big cannabis fan, so I know all about that shit. And I can tell you for a fact that a lot of these a lot of growers and people who are trying to get into the industry can't get into the industry simply for the fact that it costs way too much money and licenses are so limited. For what reason? No reason. They're just limited for no reason. So that is just artificially putting constrictions on that industry, which of course raises prices, makes things harder to get into, makes it harder for people to start businesses, therefore hurting the economy. And this is not just in the cannabis industry. This is in a fuck ton of other industries where there are rules and regulations. And you might say, oh, well, yeah, that's to keep the big companies from fucking us over and whatnot. Well, I'll tell you right now, those rules and regulations that we have put in place, especially that are business related, more often than not, they're put into place, lobbied by these big companies so they can keep competition out. So definitely don't think that is for that. I promise you. Any of these regulations and rules that are out there, they're more than likely here to protect the people that are at the top of the game so that they can lose as little as possible. So trust and believe that. And if you thought the legal system was much better, newsflash, it's not. If you think the police are here to protect us, newsflash, they're not. They're not even legally obligated to protect you in a dire situation. They can just say, hey, you know what, fuck it, I'm not gonna help you. And guess who's gonna back them up? The Supreme Court, as they have before. They have been backed up in the past before, and police officers are not legally obligated to protect you. So what are police officers here for? Simple, they're here to uphold the laws of the state. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. It just so happens that, of course, murder is breaking a law, therefore police go after murderers. It's not because they want to protect you from murderers. It's because murder, of course, is against the law, and when you break the law, you need to be punished. Same way with how they view a lot of drugs, even though it's a voluntary transaction and people should be able to do what they want with their bodies. They see that as a crime and they will lock you up for breaking the law, even though there was no victim. And speaking of victimless crimes, about 87% of people that are locked up in the federal prisons are locked up for victimless crimes. So 86% of the federal prison population is locked up for a victimless crime. Damn near 90% of the prison population. And we have the most incarcerated prison population on the planet. And you about to tell me that our fucking police system's not fucked up, bro? Come on. That shit's rigged. It's for profit. Those niggas, we're pretty much new slaves. And you want to know how I know we new slaves? Because the state does not serve the interest of its citizens. For the most part, it's terrorizing us and keeping us from progressing to reaching our true potential by holding us back with crazy ass regulations and forcing us to abide by their rules that they set. And when we don't want to follow through with those rules, we have to comply under the threat of violence at the end of the day. Don't get that shit twisted. Like, you think it's fucked up that we're bombing countries out in the Middle East? Well, you don't have a choice. Keep paying taxes for it. You think it's fucked up that we're funding gender studies in fucking Pakistan when there's people that are unemployed on the streets right now? Well, you don't get a choice, bro. It's a fucking democracy. Or no, it's a republic, brother. It's a republic. So we can't do that here. We can't do that here. We gotta wait. You gotta wait every 4 years and then cast a vote, bro. That's what you gotta do. Don't do anything else. Just cast that vote, my bro, and we'll be all right after that. Like, that's what they're telling us, bro. It's slavery. It's straight up slavery. You can't convince me anything else. They literally take your money. They steal your money. They force you to live how they want you to live, all under the threat of violence. They will make your way of life illegal. They will make it illegal for you to accept payment for a job if it's not under their requirements. If you want to work for $3 an hour just sweeping a fucking floor or something, you can't do that. It's illegal. They've told you. Your rulers have spoken. Our all-powerful, our all-wise rulers have spoken and decided that it is illegal for somebody to accept $6 an hour, even even if they think that that's a good wage for them and they're just trying to get some skills to enter into the workplace. Fuck those guys. Why the fuck would they think that they can just work for $6 an hour? Those fucking idiots. And you mean to tell me we're not slaves to these people? They could draft us into a fucking war and have us fighting a battle in Vietnam for no reason at all. What did Vietnam have to do with us? I can't tell you. I can't tell you how the war in Afghanistan is helping me pay my bills, but we got motherfuckers out there dying for that shit. So, yeah, it's slavery. You don't have a choice. You have to live in this country. You were born here, and these motherfuckers, they got here first and set up the infrastructure, luckily enough for them. So apparently they have the God-given rights to decide how everything should be done in this land, and if you disagree, you can live with it. You can leave the country, and if you want to leave the country, they're probably going to charge you and make it difficult, or you can sit in a cage for the rest of your life. The decision is yours. So, yeah, maybe you are free. I don't know if that's what you consider freedom, but I don't consider being forcefully stolen from and under threat of violence. I don't consider that freedom, regardless of how you want to look at it. You can be a slave or you can be free, but you can't be both. So we got to figure out which one we want. And from the looks of it, I'm going to tell you, slavery is not looking good.